Hey folks, this video is all about my workflow. I'm going to be showing you my space, equipment, software, most importantly, my backup and editing system. So folks, in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what I use, why I use it, and how I use it, show you my desk setup and show you what I'm using and why. And I'm focusing mainly in on my editing and backup, as I said, and then I'm going to finish with a little studio tour because I've never actually shown you around my newest studio. So look, I'm just back from 6 weeks on the road. I was in Thailand, Bhutan, Mongolia, and South Korea. Over 15,000 frames taken in total, all with high-res cameras, and over 100 hours of full 4K footage. It really adds up. I ended up with around 2 terabytes worth of information from that trip, slightly whittled down now, but a huge amount of data. So it's a real logistical and, organizational nightmare to make sure that it's all safe and secure. That's before you get to actually editing it. So over time, I've refined the equipment I work with so that it's suitable for the book work I do and the kind of work I'm doing when I'm in studio, but that it's also fast, reliable, scalable, and stable, so that when I get back into studio like I am now for a short amount of time, I'm able to back up everything, make sure it's secure, make sure it's archived and indexed so I can find it easily, and able to then reliably clear my cards and stuff to get back on the road. When you're shooting 36 and 42 megapixel cameras and 4K video, the storage requirements really jump up. So, what used to be 16 and 32 gig cards, now I'm using 64, 128, and 256 gig cards. What I needed in terms of NAS and attached to storage was, now I really need it to be scalable because I could suddenly come home with 2 terabytes of extra information and I want to make sure it's really securely backed up. As well as just putting it out for YouTube and for my books and stuff. If I'm going to sell footage to a TV station or I'm going to sell an image as a print from a long ago trip to someone, I need to be able to really access that stuff. So let's take a look at exactly what I'm using and why. Okay, so coming in close, we've got to keep in mind what it is that I actually do. What I'm using may not suit everyone. I'm shooting for, obviously, as you would know from this, I shoot for YouTube. So I'm doing a lot of video editing, and getting into 4K takes up lots of space, but that also means that I have audio requirements as well as all the stuff for photography. For photography, I'm shooting for print a lot. My nudes are normally for books, and travel stuff is often to go to print as well. And then, also social media and all the other stuff as well. So that's the kind of things I'm using. Let's go in close and take a look at the computing stuff first. Okay, first of all, I'm using the Mac Pro trash can. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of it, but I find it flawless. It never hangs. It's incredibly fast. The downside is the price. I think the shape and everything else I really don't care about, but super reliable, and if you're using Mac like I am, a great option. My main network attached storage, or the only one I'm using now, if you haven't seen this already, check out my video. I'll link it on screen and in the caption. This is the QNAP 871T. This uses Thunderbolt 2 and it's crazy fast. This thing had read and write speeds faster than SSD. It really blows my mind. I can edit full 4K video straight off this, and my high-res files, I don't need to be putting them onto the computer to then be able to edit them and then use them here just for backup storage. I can connect to this directly with Thunderbolt, or you can do it via the network. Both ways are super fast. It also means I can transfer from my laptop onto this, onto the Mac Pro and stuff, edit on both really, really fast. And the other thing, I've recently got this expansion pack as well. This is the P500, takes another 5 drives. And these ones as well throughout the whole machine, and the 871T, so in total 13 of these things. I'm using the Seagate NAS hard drives, 4 terabytes or 4,000 gigabytes. They're built to be used, continuously. They're NAS drives, and like I said, in this configuration, they're just crazy fast, and I've never had issues with Seagate. For me, it's a no-brainer. They just work fantastically, and this system is so easy to set up. Again, you can check out the video I did on the 871T up here. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a second. Going around from left to right, when I need headphones, I'm using these Audio-Technica M50s. I use an Allen and Heath deck over here. I don't need a whole bunch of deck stuff, but when I'm doing, say, interviews, then having different channels and stuff is really helpful. The guys at Rode Mic put me onto that one. I have a secondary monitor that's an old one that's not great, and I'm looking to replace that one. My main monitor is this guy. This is the ISO. It's got the built-in calibrator. You know, it's got the hood. The color is accurate. I love this thing, and when I turn it off, it just calibrates itself. I do also have a little printer over here that I just use for office stuff. I don't use it all the time. I'm thinking about getting a higher end printer, haven't got one just yet. I just use the simple keyboard and mouse trackpad thing there. I do also have a Wacom tablet that I use sometimes. For when I'm in studio and I have access to the best stuff, I'm using the Rode Broadcaster mic. So good. I've done a video comparing different voiceover mics. I'll link that one as well. And then on the road, I'm using my little MacBook Pro. It's a spec'd out one, but you know, it's really, really good, especially with fast media attached. It just works a treat. As I said, bigger and bigger cards all the time. 256 gigabyte, 1000 speed is, you know, what I'm using now, and they've got a 2000 coming, which I'm really looking forward to. Speed and capacity become such a huge issue when you're shooting high-res stuff, and a lot of it. The other thing I'm using in this system, hello Loki, is these Genelec 8040Bs. They're just amazing monitor speakers. Hello Loki. I got these ones after speaking to Genelec and, you know, working it out exactly for my space. They're just so accurate as monitors. You don't want something that's show-offy and bass heavy. You want something that's accurate so you can really work with it. I really miss these speakers when I'm on the road. They're, you know, big and heavy, but they're meant for a studio situation where you have them, you know, lined up for the room, set up for your room, and the size and weight isn't an issue. Just beautiful. Now, in terms of editing, I'm using Adobe Creative Cloud, Lightroom, and Photoshop. That's pretty much what I use for my photo editing. I have presets I've made and that kind of thing, but 90% of what I do to my photos I can do in Lightroom, and it's just when I need to, you know, composite things or, you know, want to add text and all of that, or do spot removal, then I go into Photoshop. For my video editing, I'm using Final Cut Pro 10. I find it works great. The main thing for me though, it's always been so annoying that you can't, you know, work on the fly with things when you're using just a standard hard drive or sometimes even SSD, because the speed isn't there. These guys, the QNAP, the 871T and the expansion pack are so fast. If you're not shooting 4K or really high res images, you may not get it. But to be able to do full res 4K footage on the fly editing, and it's not dropping frames, and, you know, using the Thunderbolt 2, it's just back and forth, and it can process and render and output the files so quickly, that really saves time. Like I said, 6 weeks on the road, now I'm home for a week. I don't have time to fart around waiting for hours for things to copy in that could take a couple of minutes, or vice versa when I'm doing editing to have things output at 10 times the speed. It's a real, you know, it makes my lifestyle possible to be able to be on the road so much. So that gives you an idea of what I'm using and why. Of course, I do recognize it's really primo stuff there. There's some things that if it's not going to suit your workflow, or if it's not going to suit your budget, then you could scale down on them. But things like having really fantastic storage that's safe, stable, and scalable, like the new QNAP setup that I'm using, it's not something you want to skimp on. If you know, we're living in a digital age now, those files are the result of all of your hard work. They're your legacy, they're your, you know, it's really an asset. You don't want to risk that could all be corrupted and die. So make sure you've got reliable storage and fail safes in place as well. Like I said, I'm also using cloud and offsite storage. Now, let me just give you a quick look around the studio. It's nothing too fancy, but I get a lot of requests. Okay, so this is the downstairs area of my studio. It's nothing glamorous, and I apologize, it's a bit of a ramshackle at the moment, having just gotten back. Little kitchenette where I make my lunch most of the time when I'm here. Sofa for when people come by, and chairs and stuff, of course. My aluminum hat to get rid of the conspiracy theory issues. Over here is my little office space. Quite small, but that's where all the magic happens, so they say. Most importantly, of course, cat food and coffee machine. Through here is just bathroom and the cat's bathroom as well. You've already seen my workspace, but that's it in the broader picture. And then upstairs is the same floor plan, same kind of size, and of course I've got my own artwork hanging up, but that's where the studio section is, so let's go up. Here we go is storage. Now, so this is empty boxes mainly, and then audio cables, power cables, computer cables, props, lighting equipment, yeah, all kinds of good stuff in there. Most of it is actually out being used though, and this is empty boxes. Another print, and then this is the studio area. Nothing too showy. It's just a big space, nothing much going on at the moment. Spare stuff for running workshops like chairs and whatnot. Of course, the office cat. Just a big room, paper backdrop. I've got all different ones. Hidden around here are smoke machines and wind machines and whatnot. Bunch of light stands. And of course, everyone has the hidden storage, don't they? I hope so. I hope it's not just me. And then this is also where I warehouse my books, so public and private bodies up in the corner there. Oh, hello. You going to come down and help me some more? You're very, very helpful. Yes, you are. Come on down, little miss. Is that how you help? Is that how you help? Tapping my hand is not helping, that's a game. Yeah, okay, it helps a little bit. All right, cheers everyone. I hope you found that useful. Please do click the like and subscribe. And if you're not already, follow along on social media. I am often doing Q&As and fun stuff over there. You'll see all of the stuff on screen in a sec. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.